Recently, with interest rates at abnormally low levels, our estate agent surveys have showed an increase in the percentage of sellers that are selling in order to upgrade their properties to around about 20%. Now, this is sometimes needed. A first-time buyer who buys a small sectional title bedsit and later wants to marry and have a family of 3 kids, for instance, ultimately wants to move into a suburban area, perhaps with a garden, perhaps with the luxury of a swimming pool, but a bigger house. So that's a natural process, almost a life cycle process. But there are some who just want to upgrade for the sake of upgrading. Money's cheap, credit's cheap, income's pretty good. Why not have a bigger house? I can afford it. Or so I think. I think that one mistake a lot of people make is doing the upgrade when interest rates are low. I would suggest rather wait till interest rates are relatively high, maybe somewhere at the peak of the cycle, although you can't time it exactly. And if you can afford it then, it's probably a good time to upgrade. We often fool ourselves as to how much extra we can afford when interest rates are low, especially when they're as low as they are at the current time. So I'm always a bit concerned about the timing of these increases in the amount of people upgrading to more expensive properties. But that's humanity. We tend to be a pro-cyclical bunch of people, and we tend to borrow more when interest rates are low, which is not necessarily the right thing to do. When you are upgrading, the general cautions about doing scenario planning to prepare for the eventuality of a few percentage points of interest rate hiking are valid. The rates and tariffs bill and the increase in maintenance cost with the bigger house, it's important to take that into account. There are 2 ways of upgrading, I guess. The one is to go and buy a new property, or to upgrade your existing property if the space around the property allows you to do so. And the decision probably rests on something called over or under capitalization. What you've got to look for if you're considering upgrading your current house is the general characteristics of houses in the area. If you are the smallest house and perhaps the cheapest house and the least frills house in the area, and around you are double-story houses generally, and you're a single-story standard 3-bedroom, for instance, we would probably say you're undercapitalized relative to the area you are in. The house prices are far higher than yours. The average is higher than your house, and the houses are more luxurious. Then if you upgrade, you can probably get the resultant increase in value as a result of your upgrades, and it might be worth your while. But where people often make the mistake is when the house is already overcapitalized, or it's in line with the characteristics of the houses in the area. So, for instance, if you were in a very low-income area where no houses in the area would have swimming pools, or tennis courts for that matter, just let's get crazy to illustrate the example. But you've got a sizable stand. And you've got to think about the type of people that would want to buy in that area when you one day sell your house. They're typically low-income people. They're probably not able to afford luxuries. They want a no-frills house that's livable. Then if you add the swimming pool and the double-story and the 5 and 6 bedrooms and the 3 bathrooms to really go over the top now, and the tennis court if you had space, you're probably not going to achieve the resultant increase in value. You're probably going to find it extremely difficult to sell your house one day in that area, because even if you really cut your price to be in line with that area and what the clientele wants, they're probably looking and saying, well, I won't even be able to maintain this house. I don't have that sort of income. Then you're overcapitalized, and that's possibly not a great investment principle. You would rather want to leave that area and go and upgrade somewhere else to a higher income area where the houses generally are luxurious.